Hi, this is Dee, and you're listening to my podcast, Let Me Clear My Throat. Today in my podcast, I'm really not for sure what I'm going to talk about. Usually, I just start talking and I get onto a subject, and it's just whatever pops in my head. So sometimes it's a good thing, and maybe sometimes it's not such a good thing. Sometimes it's boring. But there's always a party going on inside my head. So, anyway, um, I was doing some thinking. Scary thought. um, that's where the smoke was coming from. If anybody saw ambulances and smoke, it was because I was thinking and the smoke was coming out of my head. um, anyway, um, so I don't know if you're like me or not in the sense of holidays. Christmas time, Thanksgiving, New Year's, and stuff. This time of year is very very difficult for me. Um, my grandson, his birthday. I've talked about my grandson before. My grandson passed away in 2016. Died on my birthday. um, and his birthday was November the 6th. And so November is very kind of difficult for me. And then, of course, you got Thanksgiving also added in there. Then you got Christmas. Um, then you got New Year. And then, of course, my birthday is in January, which is also the anniversary of my grandson's death. But add into the mix the death of my dad. He died January the 7th, about a year and a half ago. It'll be 2 years this January. Hard to believe. It's already been 2 years. Miss that man tremendously. Um, but anyway, this time of year is very, very difficult for me. I I stopped doing the holidays after my grandson died. Um, I really was even reluctant to put a tree up, and which really was difficult. Um, Now looking back on it, it was very difficult that I added pain onto my youngest daughter unintentionally by not acknowledging the holidays and acknowledging life really because there was just so much devastation going on in my life. I really didn't know how to handle um, anything. Um, and I handled everything pretty much completely wrong, if not at all. And depression and grief and anxiety, um, trigger points, um, all that stuff. It's just a huge factor of my life, and it has been pretty much my demise. And but it has also been um, the strength that I'm trying to build from, and my determination on trying to rebuild myself as a human being, um, as a mother, as a grandmother, as a daughter, um, as just as a woman, just general as a person and somebody who is taking space up and oxygen up in this world without without feeling like I um, am taking away by being in this world from somebody else, if that makes any sense. Maybe I need to explain it differently. Um, I have been to the point in my life where I've been in the darkest parts that I have felt like maybe the world would be better off without me. And maybe people would be happier without me in it. And I have felt alone. I have felt abandoned. I've felt lost. I've felt misguided, mistreated, abused, neglected. I have felt unwanted, unworthy. I have felt ugly, fat, hideous. I used to call myself an ogre. um, all these emotions. And I would actually just cry um, uncontrollably sometimes to the air, basically. And I used to have this saying, um, you know, why talk to the air? The air don't care. Or why cry to the air? The air don't care anyway. And I used to talk out loud all the time to myself, actually. Just because I'm one of those people, if I get something running through my mind, I I'm very verbal. And when I got something on my mind, it's very hard for me to contain it. And I don't really know what kind of classification someone could say that would be, but it's me. That's my classification. It's me. And I would get to the point where I would talk out loud to myself. I would talk to myself. I'd laugh at my jokes. I would cuss myself out. I would yell at myself. I'd put myself down. I would make fun of myself. I'd call myself names. Um, I would self harm myself uh, a lot. And I I got to the point in my life where it was starting to get to the point where I stopped talking. I stopped talking out loud. And I talk to myself in my head now more so. And before everybody say, "Who are you talking to?" "Oh, I'm talking to myself." Or they say, "You're weird, you're crazy," whatever. And um, now I pretty much keep to myself and I talk to myself and I keep it in my head, and nobody notices. And sometimes I feel like I'm going to implode. And like I've said before, if I talk out loud, people think I'm crazy. If I talk in my head, I make myself crazy. And I'm trying to get to the point where I'm quietly trying to teach myself to stop abusing myself, to stop judging myself, to stop self harming myself, to stop calling myself names, to stop thinking that the world is better off without me, to stop thinking that people would be happy if I was just gone out of their life permanently because they don't want to be in my life. Um, Now I'm alive, so why would they care if I was gone? Not here. Maybe I should make everybody happy and just go, and that really took me in my life to very dark places. And sorry, I'm not trying to start crying. This is just me, and I do cry in my podcast periodically, and excuse me, I just speak from my heart. I speak what I feel, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult to explain and put into words an emotion that is so severing and so altering that it inflicts such deep, chaotic, and sporadic wounds deep into parts of my body that I don't ever even know exist. And I'm trying to teach myself that while I can't heal the scars and make them go away, I'm trying to put band aids on them, if you will, and medicate them. Uh, Not necessarily medicate, let me rephrase that. Um, Try to acknowledge them in a healthy manner. And so every time, and this might take the rest of my life to do actually, which is okay. It's okay because that's what I need to do. Excuse me. My throat is very dry. I'm sorry. Um, I'm trying to teach myself that for every negative thing that I have said to myself, done to myself, thought about myself, or allowed to um, overtake me in a negative manner, I have been trying to teach myself to counteract that and try to do it in a positive way, of positive reinforcement for myself, for my own self esteem, my own self worth, my own self sanity, my I'm trying to make my head a safe haven for myself. I'm trying to make my mind a safe place. You ever see those places that got the little stickers on side of the buildings that says safe place? You know, that's what I'm trying to do for my head. That's what I'm trying to do for my mind. That's what I'm trying to do for my well-being. And it's been a struggle. And then I throw the holidays in there, and it's trigger after trigger after trigger. And working through those triggers alone, people just don't. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to say that. I don't feel that people understand the magnitude that it takes to overcome such a level. It's like throwing yourself down into a dark canyon with no tools, no resources, no light, no direction, feeling your way around in the dark without getting discouraged, without pricking yourself, without um, without anything. And you're in this dark cavern, this dark hole, this dark abyss. And the eye of that abyss is the only way out of it. And it's a very dark place to be. And sometimes that eye is not a very big place. You might be able to only squeeze your pinky out of it. Or maybe one thought. You might be able to squeeze one thought through it. But I've been doing that. And I'm pretty freaking proud of myself. If nobody else knows and if nobody else sees it or nobody else even gives a care, I do. And the first time in my life I can actually honestly say that and not be lying. And I'm teaching myself that it's okay to love myself. It's okay to give myself a compliment. It's okay to disagree with myself, but that doesn't mean I gotta put myself down for it. It's okay to remind myself that I'm a human being and I make mistakes and I don't make the best decisions based off things that maybe I've never experienced before and don't quite know how to handle and may handle it very wrong. I try to remind myself that it's okay to get knocked down. Just don't stay there. Don't roll over and die and let it kill you. Pull yourself up with everything you got, even if it's just one step at a time, one tiptoe at a time, one half a breath of a time. As long as I'm trying, then I'm doing. And as long as I'm doing, then I'm still here. And it's sad to think, it's very heartbreaking to feel that I have been to a point in my life that I thought that there was no other option in this world than to kill myself. I didn't want to die. I just wanted the pain to stop. I just wanted the pain to quit. I wanted the thoughts and the trauma and the triggers to go away. mean I wanted to die, but I thought there was no other way. There was no other option. There's no way in this world that anybody in this world would understand what I was feeling. That nobody in this world cared, and that nobody in this world wanted me anymore. I didn't even want me. I would look in the mirror and I didn't even know that person I was looking at. And I would just see this vision, this reflection change. I would see this stranger that shared the same identity as my reflection looking back at me, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they represented. And sometimes I couldn't even believe some of the things that my reflection was trying to tell me. All these years of buildup over the years of all of society, all of my family, all of the people that I relationships I've been in, my own relatives, my own friends, all that piled up into growing up. That's who I was. That was the reflection staring back at me, but much more. And it was the parts of those pieces that I wanted to stop hurting me. I've never told anybody this, but I am going to tell the world. One time I Googled how to inject rubbing alcohol in me, in my veins, and what that would be like, or to drink it. Um, I would look up different ways on how to self harm myself. I would look at ways on um, anything. I would take the little quizzes. How to tell if somebody don't like you, how to tell if you're this, how to tell if somebody what you can do to make somebody want you, um how to be prettier, watch tutorials on how to make myself prettier, how I could be thinner, how I could be more smarter, how I could be less and less and less me, and then maybe somebody might want me. Maybe somebody might care about how I was feeling. Maybe somebody might want to stay in my life, and it's not because they have to. It's because they wanted to. And I've been to the point where I have developed a variety of ways to try to cope. Some of them have not been good choices. Some of them have some of them have almost gotten the death of me, literally, but yet killed me figuratively. And I don't need to explain that to anybody. I shouldn't have to explain that to anybody. I should not have to go into details on my mistakes in life. I should not have to go in detail on everything negative Why can't I go in depth on things that are positive? Why can't I go in depth on things that have had positive reactions to me? Things that have had reasons to make me smile and make me laugh instead of reasons that have made me cry, cover my head, and think of alternative ways to not be here. Some people in my life have had perfect timings, and they don't even know it. Um, Perfect timings. And I say that now. There have been times that I have cried so uncontrollably that I have made myself sick. I have cried so hard and so loud, but nobody heard me. Not the way I needed them to. Except now I cry inside my head. But I do it softly in the background of my mind because that's where I'm trying to put it. And maybe that doesn't make sense. Because they say, oh, you shouldn't put it in the back of your mind, push it away, whatever you need to deal with it, you need to confront it, you need to talk about it, you need to get it out there. No, no, I don't. Because I've tried that. I've tried that. Nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody needed to hear it. It was too heavy for other people to hear. Um, or I did say it and nobody could hear me because I was screaming so loud that it made everybody deaf to my sound. If that makes any sense. Oh, here goes Dee again. She's always got something to say. She's always got to have the last word. She's all the time crying. She's all the time, talk. It's always about her. It's all about her. It's all about her pain, her suffering, what she's going through. Blah 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 blah. No, I have always. I can't say that. That's not always true. I mentally have always put myself last. I mentally have always put myself behind everyone else. Whether I've come across that way or not has not always been accurate. But here today, I sit in this room. I watch these squiggly lines go across my screen. And I thought to myself, what do I want to talk about today? I have no idea. I guess I needed to reflect on that for a moment. I I don't know. This time of year is so hard. And I miss when I was a kid. I miss when I would go to my grandparents' house and we would have big get-togethers and we would have big dinners and we would have family. It was actually family. And I lost my grandparents. All of them are gone. I miss them terribly. I do. I My first grandfather died in 1986. He died of colon cancer. 2 years later, my second grandfather died. Same month, just 3 days later, for my first grandpa, of colon cancer. Years later, I lost one of my grandmothers um, to an aneurysm. She had a seeping aneurysm in the center of her head. And they couldn't, they put a coil in to try to stop the bleeding and could not bring her back. She went into hospice, never woke. She went in on Easter and passed away on Mother's Day. My second grandmother passed away years after that. And now family is just, it takes on a whole new meaning, if you will. And it's not a good one. It takes on the meaning of relatives. A room full of people that are doing a duty call because it's a holiday. A room full of people that maneuver the holiday get together so they don't have to see other family members, other relatives. They maneuver the holidays to not include people in their holiday. And they maneuver people in their lives that they wish were still there. Because they lost them, they're gone. They passed away. Or they went away, or they're in the military and maybe deployed, or their parents or grandparents, or their brothers or sisters or the children or whoever are not in a mental capacity, or maybe some are incarcerated, maybe some are in nursing homes. And the holidays are just not what they used to be. But you know what? In years that I didn't do holidays, after my grandson passed away, all the holidays that I took away from my youngest daughter unintentionally, I can't give those back to her. And I have such big remorse over that so much. In my life, I have done so much that was out of my control mentally and emotionally and even physically at times. But then I finally did Christmas 2 Christmases ago. And I was pretty proud of myself. I haven't dressed up at work. I was a therapist for autistic kids. And I dressed up at work, had my little elf ears on and my Christmas decor. We even had a door decorating contest, and I decorated, went all out on it, and worked very hard on it. And bought gifts and really got into it the best I could. I mean, I really did. And I was so proud of myself. And my dad was alive then. My stepdad, he was alive then. And he told my mom that it was the best Christmas he'd ever had. And he was really proud of me. He was really proud of me because he knew how hard it was for me to get to that point in my life. And I actually had a really good Christmas with him. And 2 weeks later, he died. 2 weeks later, he passed away. Making meatballs at 10:30 in the morning with my mom in the kitchen. And before noon could even strike noon, they had already pronounced him dead and had taken him away. And I tried so hard to give him CPR. I tried so hard to save him. The medics worked so hard on him. It was in God's hands. And last year was the first year that my mom had to do Christmas without him. And I was determined not to not celebrate. I was determined to still celebrate Christmas. Because I was trying to give her whatever I could give her. Because I knew the emotion behind the grief. I don't necessarily know her pain, but I know the emotion. And this year is going to be a hard Christmas for me. I don't really want to go into details why. Just some very important key players in my life. I don't say key players, that's not right. Some very important people that I love. That mean so much to me. Are not able to spend the holiday with me. For reasons, many reasons that I'm not going to go into. And I respect that. But it hurts. And I'm trying really hard to still do the holidays the best I can with my mom. And and in 2 weeks after Christmas, well, actually that's not true. A week after Christmas, I'm going to try to figure out how to get into a new year. And then a week after that, I'm going to try to figure out how to help my mom through the anniversary of her husband's death. And then a couple weeks after that, I'm going to have to figure out how to manage to get through the anniversary of my grandson's death and my birthday. And you know what? I'm determined to do it. I am not going to give life the chance to outlive me, if that makes any sense. Not intentionally, anyway. I'm a good person. I make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not a perfect parent. I'm not a perfect grandmother. I'm not a perfect daughter. I haven't been a perfect wife or girlfriend. I haven't been a perfect friend. I haven't been a perfect sister. I haven't been a perfect human being. But I know that. Can I change it? I'm never going to be perfect. But I'm striving very hard to remember that I don't need to be perfect to be real. And I don't need to be perfect to be beautiful inside and out. I don't need to be perfect to compliment myself. I don't need to be perfect to believe in myself and say nice things to myself. I don't need to be perfect to think that I am worthy to breathe and walk this earth just like every other human being. I don't need to be perfect to feel like I deserve any less than anybody else in this world on happiness. And I don't need to be perfect to breathe. I don't need to be perfect to be me. I don't need to be perfect to have a good heart. And I don't need to be perfect to want to stay alive and live. I don't need to be perfect. Period. And I don't need to pretend that I'm anything less than me. I don't need to dumb myself down just to make somebody else feel smarter. But I don't need to poke at them because they don't know something, or they don't understand, or maybe they just don't care, or maybe it's too much for them to handle, or whatever the case may be. I don't need to belittle myself to make somebody else feel taller on their negativity, on their mean words, on their lack of understanding and kindness, on their judgment, on thinking that they're perfect and I need to treat them as such. I don't need those kinds of people in my life. And this doesn't go, there's a fine line between it all. Because I've got relatives. I've got lots of relatives. They're a dime a dozen. But my family's not so big. And the ones that I have in my family, I miss tremendously. Because why I might know where I am with myself, I don't know where they are with me. Because I've hurt them over the years. In one way or another, I've unintentionally hurt them when I lost myself. And I can't take that back. But I pray so hard that they find a way to forgive me for all the pain that they have endured, that they continue to work through, that their life continues to trigger. I pray that they can see me with a new reflection. The way I'm so so wholeheartedly trying to reflect from myself. You know, I don't know what everybody's going through in their life. I don't know how the holidays are for you. Maybe you can't relate to any of this that I'm saying. Maybe this is a boring podcast to you, and I apologize. But honestly, I don't do my podcast necessarily um, for everybody else. I do them for me because it's who I am. And you know, I spent my time thinking to myself, who would want me? Who would want me? I'm a mental case. I'm messed up. I've been through some tragedies. I've hated myself. I've made a lot of mistakes. Um, I've made some bad decisions. I'm not the most prettiest. I'm not the most thinnest. I'm educated, but um, maybe some people think I'm a smarty butt and think I'm a know-it-all. Uh, I talk too much. I make jokes at the wrong time. I try to make people laugh in times that it's not time to laugh. Um, because I try to lessen their pain. I've been abused. I've been neglected. I've been abandoned. I've been left behind. I've been manipulated. I've been raped. I've been stalked. I'm damaged. I'm damaged goods. And this is what I would tell myself. And I would cry this to my mother. And I would tell my mom. And I said this to her on my birthday last year. Who would want me? Because I could put myself all out there, do all the right things, be there, give my all, the best I can. And in the end, what does it matter? I'm still left behind. I'm still abandoned. I'm still abused. I'm still neglected. I'm still treated like a piece of lingering poop on your toe that won't go away, that continues to stink, that just lingers on and on and on with each step of my life I would take. What's the good in it? What good does it do? Because in the end, it doesn't matter. This is what I would cry to my mom. And my mom can't handle listening to that. But I have nobody else to talk to, and she's my mom. And it was my birthday. It was my 50th birthday, and I was alone. I sat out in my camper by myself, all alone on my 50th birthday. I went to the gas station and got two cupcakes, one pack of two cupcakes in it, and I gave one to my mom and one to me, and that was my birthday. But you know what? I did it. I got up, I took a shower, I did my hair, I did my makeup, I put a dress on, looked like I was ready to go out on the town or to a nice dinner. But instead, I went out to my camper and I did nothing. I put my grandson's necklace on that has his ashes because, it's his anniversary of his death, too. I took a picture of me standing in front of the curio cabinet of my dad's picture of me and him. I took a picture of me kissing my grandson's necklace on my neck. That was my 50th birthday. That was a milestone in my life. And I didn't even realize it until just now. I didn't need a fancy party. I didn't need a bunch of gifts. I didn't need people calling me and singing to me. I didn't need a candle on my birthday cake to blow out to make a wish. My gift for my birthday, my milestone, to myself and to the world, to my grandson, to my stepdad, I took another breath. And I embraced the day. Even if I was alone, I was alive. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal to me. Because you know how many birthdays I never did since my grandson passed away? How many birthdays my youngest daughter tried so hard to make special because she knew how hard it was for me to do. And the first birthday, she texted me and told me happy birthday. And that was it. She couldn't do it no more. It was too hard. It hurt her too much to see her mom that way. And you know what? I'm so blessed that she did. She was holding on to me and letting herself go. And I was holding on to, I don't know, to the darkness, to the air. I was drowning in my tears and my sorrow I was drowning in my pain. I was drowning in grief. And grief is different than sadness. Grief is a lot different than sadness. It's not just sadness. It's not just depression. It's not. And if you have ever suffered any level of grief, true, wholeheartedly true grief, you understand that emotion. And it's a dark place. It's a very dark, dark place. And I don't wish that on anybody. And if you're going through something like that, I could say please reach out to somebody. But the truth is you probably already have tried. In one way or another, even if just in your mind, you've tried. And it got too loud in your head. Please don't give up. Please don't give up on yourself. If anything, listen to me tell you this. There is a way out of that darkness. I can't give you directions because I didn't know my own way. But I can tell you which way you don't want to go. Don't go that way. Please don't ever go that way. You are more than what you feel. And you are way more than what everybody else has made you feel. If you don't like your reflection in the mirror, don't get a new you. Get a new mirror. Put post-it notes on that mirror if you need to. Positive things. Decorate it if you need to. Put some bling on it. Let it sparkle and shine. So you can see yourself bedazzle. But don't go that way. I promise you. I am living proof in your ear right now that knows you don't want to go that way. I don't want you to go that way. And if that's the only thing that you hold on to, then you hold on tight. You hold on tight and you pull yourself up. You pull yourself back up. You pull yourself back up. You straighten your crown. You straighten your tiara. You push your horns down. And you take a good solid breath. And you, for the first time in your life, breathe. Without your own breath suffocating you, you breathe. You take your breath. You take that deep breath and you exhale it out. And you release in with the positive, out with the negative. Breathe in, breathe out. Relieve all doubt. That's what I say to myself. Shine bright like a diamond. Sparkle and shine. Whatever works for you. You step over that bullshit that is stuck to you like a piece of poop, that has just lingered and lingered and lingered on with you. It has made your surroundings and your life so unbearable to be able to stand to be around with. And you breathe over that step. Breathe through it. Breathe around it. Breathe in it. Embrace it. But don't dwell in it. Don't let that lingering piece of crap steal your breath away again. I'm not saying it smells like roses. But that doesn't mean that it can't make great fertilizer to help you grow and bloom and prosper and flourish and be beautiful. So please don't go that way. Go. Just go. Just keep going. The first step is always the hardest. If you're self-medicating, however you're doing it, please stop. Obviously, it's not working. It's not working. Sometimes in life, you have to put down one thing to have multiple things. Instead of putting down multiple things to have one thing. You only have one life. Don't let that 5-second or 5-minute high or item that you have five-finger discounted, or that alcohol that you have drowned yourself in, or the countless many of people you've slept with, to feel something, just to feel self that wanted, or the countless makeovers you've done to where your Google doesn't even recognize you when they try to do an image search. Don't filter yourself out to make yourself beautiful and worthy to a world that doesn't see you for the beauty you are naturally. And don't for 1 second, if you can, think that in the end it doesn't matter. Because I guarantee you it does. It does matter. You know why it matters? Because you matter. You matter. Do you hear me? You matter. And if it makes people mad that you're alive, that's their problem, not yours. If people don't like your hair, don't like your face, don't like your clothes, don't like your attitude, don't like you, okay, you can't change the way people act and think, but you can change and work on the way that you handle the way they make you feel when they on what they act and they think about you. Everybody's entitled to their opinions and their thoughts. That doesn't mean they have the right to be bullies and straight up assholes. But at the same time too, doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. And doesn't mean that it's not convincing over time. Because if you hear it enough, then it must be true, right? You're gonna feel it. It's gonna feel like it is. You're gonna look at that reflection in your mirror and you're not gonna know that person. But you know what? It doesn't mean you can't get to know them. But it doesn't mean that you can't rebuild everything that has broke that person down. You wear your scars on the inside and the outside. It's the ones on the inside that are self-inflicting, like a domino effect. At least that's what it was and is with me. It's a good thing that my grandfather, my first grandfather that passed away in '86, he taught me how to play dominoes. I can still envision him to this day, slinging his hand on the kitchen table because he always played cards. He taught us how to play cards. I can play a mean game of spades, cribbage. I can play cribbage. I was self-taught myself cribbage. Um, that one I taught myself. Go fish, crazy eights, hearts, double solitaire, solitaire. Um, let's see, what can I play? 52 card pickup. I can play that one really good. Nobody ever wants to play that one with me though anymore. I play war. Um, I can't play euchre. I say this because I tried to learn how to play euchre one time, and the person that was teaching me is my ex-boyfriend years ago, back in the 90s, 95, 96. And he was in an abusive relationship. Go figure. But anyway, uh, I tried to learn how to play euchre with him and two other people. And he was supposed to be teaching me. And instead, he was yelling at me. And he was yelling at me the whole time. And he wasn't a very good teacher. And he had me in tears. I felt so stupid. And I looked at him and I said, I will never play euchre ever again. I will never do this. And I was traumatized so bad from a game of euchre. And I remember my grandfather, um, they always played. They always played cards. And when us kids would come over, we'd play like actual board games. We would play a Parcheesi, Sorry. Um, we would play dominoes all the time. I played dominoes all the time. Perfection, um, Operation, Jaws. The socket boppets. Um, gosh, I don't even remember. Boggle. Um, all those classics because I'm classic. Um, and I've said it before on one of my other podcasts. You know, I used to say I'm vintage, but I heard on a radio station they say all classics all the time, and I knew almost all the songs. So I determined I'm classic with a splash of vintage on it. And my mom's like, "Well, if you're vintage, what am I?" I said, "I don't know, antique." I mean, but hey, antique is priceless, right? I mean, it is. my mother, my mother is priceless, and I cherish her. I do. I love her. I love my mother. Um, but I'm a classic. So, and everybody, I mean, and then I look at it. Hey, here's my compliment. Everybody loves a good classic, right? Classic movies, a classic car, a classic song. You know, um, oh, things from our generation are trying to come back. They need to bring back payphones. They need to bring back pagers. They need to bring back landline phones. They need to bring back um, times that you actually could go out in the world and your checkbook, write checks while you're standing in line. Everybody's sitting there tapping their feet, wait for you to write your check out so they can get behind you to write their check out. Um, but times when we weren't, um, our life was not determined by technology. Our family was not dictated by technology. You know, um, if you went out and about somewhere, you went to the store, you went to a friend's house or whatever, you had to wait till you get to that friend's house to be able to talk on the phone, like the landline phone, or whatever. You weren't like your cell phone didn't exist. You'd have to stop at, or you had a pager. You'd have to stop at the pay phone. Hope you had enough change so you could call back on the page. And I always had a code on my pager for when I would call and give a number, and they would know it was me. My code was D upside down. It was 330, which was D to me upside down. And like we'd spell out hello or Shell Oil or whatever, and you'd put the little code in and you turn upside and it would spell a word. Oh, those were our days. Those were the classic days. Um, but those were the days when it was real. That was days when family was still family, and my closest relative wasn't a computer. My closest relative wasn't a laptop. My closest relative wasn't the latest iPhone. My closest relative wasn't my Game Boy or my whatever latest video game is or whatever now, because I don't know. Because I'll still say Atari. um, um, my closest relative wasn't a device that I had to I'm gonna say this. I'm laughing in my head already because I just made a joke in my head. I mean, said what I was gonna say, but I mean this sincerely as a non-funny way. But if you take it funny, then your mind is already where mine is. Um, my closest relative is not somebody that I need to plug up, you know. But this is my life. This is me. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm warped. I am so. I'm a human being. I'm warped. I'm sorry. But it's true. It's true. You can take it however you want. It's true. My closest relative was actually a human being back in the day when when classic wasn't when classic was real. When times were real. I shouldn't have to do a reality check to remember what's real. I shouldn't have to be reminded to remember someone when it's real. You know, I saw this picture one time in a magazine. There was a two kids. a man, a woman, and I'm assuming the mom and dad, and then an extra man and woman. I'm assuming were the grandparents. And excuse me, they were sitting on this like sectional, if you will, and the grandparents were at one end. The parents were kind of in the middle, and the kids were to the side on the other end. And the grandparents, um, the the grandfather was holding a tablet, like an iPad, and the grandmother was sitting close to him, like she was looking at it. And the two parents each had a cell phone in their hand, and then the children um, each had an iPad or a tablet or something in their hand, electronic device. And they were all sitting on this couch together, and every single one of them had an electronic device in their hand. And I looked at that and I thought, what is wrong with this world when that needs to be a snapshot in a magazine? That needs to be a memory frozen in time in a magazine. That. That moment. What happened to the days of what happened to the days where family was actually real? Your electronic devices, their batteries eventually die, and you can replace the device, and you could charge it up, and do whatever, or even get a new upgrade if you want to. Electronic devices are replaceable. Your family is not. You want something frozen in time to remember? How about a memory? An actual memory that you might not have the time to take a picture to snap the shot on because you're having so much fun with your family member. Or you have one device in your hand and it's an actual camera from a photographer, professional photographer, to capture a family getting all dressed up, looking alike, or maybe not, making faces, whatever they're doing. Maybe somebody blinked in the middle of the photo being taken. But an actual professional photo done of a family that are real, that can't be replaced, and it's not digital. It's real, authentic. How about Olin Mills? Are they still existent? Anybody remember Olin Mills? Oh, hey. Or those people that used to stand in Zehrs or Ames or Heels. Remember Heels department store, and they would be like solicit you on trying to get you to buy a package to come sit for a family portrait or whatever, and they'd put you in that portrait with the little wine glasses or the little shadow people to the your shadow reflection to the side or whatever. I would take those days back any day compared to today's time. That is a generation that that's the generation I'm from. Welcome back, Mr. Carter. Alice with Flo. Kiss my grits. With Mel's Diner. Facts of Life. Good old Tootie. Joe. Blair. Um, can't remember the other girl's name. Oh, I had it earlier. Natalie. Natalie. Mrs. Garrett. Different Strokes. Arnold. What you talking about, Willis? Starsky and Hutch. Dukes of Hazzard. Chips. Uh, Laverne and Shirley. Happy Days. Charles in Charge. Uh, Dallas. Uh, yeah, those are was it Good Times? All in the Family. Not like JJ with Dynamite. um, yeah. Why can't we go back to those times? Yeah, when family was real, holidays were real, people were real, and unfortunately, many of those people are being mourned and lost today because they're not here no more. Classics, classics. Well, I'm classic with a splash of vintage. So mine's got a classic with a twist. Because, in all honesty, I did die. I did die. Because the person that I knew before me, she does not exist anymore. And that's okay. Her and I have an understanding now. We got a lot of work left to do in this world. And you know what? We got a lot of people to help, a lot of people to make laugh, a lot of people to share memories with, a lot of people to get on their nerves, a lot of people to cherish, embrace, enjoy, and be a part of. And I can't do that. I can't do that if I go that way again. And her and I understand that of each other. Now, am I crazy? Hell yeah, I'm crazy. But I'm no crazier than anybody else. Normal? What's normal? I like to know what normal people do. Because if you say you're normal, I really like to know what you do. How are you normal? Because what is normal? Because there's only one me. And some people might be thinking, thank God. Thank God there's only one you. And you know what? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me there is only one me. Whether I'm classic, vintage, antique, or newborn, I matter. I'm priceless. And Lord willing, I'm determined to stick around. Besides, living looks pretty good on me, if I do say so myself. Even if I do make faces at myself in the mirror. I take my teeth out and I make faces all the time. And sometimes I make faces with my teeth in too, but still, it's funnier when I have them out. It is funny. I do look funny with my teeth out and make faces. But hey, it's better to laugh with me than to laugh at me. And I say that to myself. And if they want to point and laugh, that's fine. Let them point and laugh. Because if they're laughing for that one moment, then that's one moment that you probably have saved them from crying. But don't let it be to the point where it leaves you in sadness. If you're going to laugh and cut up and make jokes, at least make sure it's making you laugh too. Because that, if you can't laugh, then is it really funny? Don't force yourself to laugh. Don't be fake. Don't allow anybody to make you fake. So you stand up. You put yourself together. You take that breath. And then the rest, you put in God's hands. Take the leap of faith and wing life one flap at a time. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to know the questions. But that doesn't mean you have to cheat yourself out of what you have been blessed with. Your God-given right to live and actually have a life. Regardless if anybody else wants you in it or not. I do. The world is a better place with you in it. Besides, if you really want to look at it in a deep way, and I'm going to say this because this is my sense of humor. If somebody doesn't appreciate you being alive, don't let them win by taking your life. Instead, you be the winner and keep it. Piss them off. Either way, you're a winner. Right? And I mean that with respect, please. Because don't give somebody the power on something that they don't have the right to control. If that makes sense. And I'm going to end my podcast here because I need to go check on my mother. And as Winnie the Pooh says, I get a rumbly in my tumbly. So, but if I don't make another podcast between now and Christmas, I I do wish everybody a happy and blessed Christmas and holiday season, and a happy and a happy and blessed moment in your time in your life that I hope you remember. It's not about what's under the tree that matters. It matters on who's around it. That's the gift. And you can't return that. There's no returns, no exchanges. That's real. And if you are struggling, and I'm going to put it bluntly, okay? If you want to die and kill yourself, if you're thinking about suicide, if you're thinking about there's no other way and you don't know how else to get it to stop, you just want to just end and be done with it, please listen to me. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry that you have that emotion that is overtaking you. And for what it's worth, please get help. Please take a breath. Please try to find a way to get through it and work out your moment. And if if you need to, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to talk with you, listen to you, or even tell you a joke if it will make you laugh. Or I will hand you a tissue and just listen. If that's what it takes to not go that way. Because because you don't deserve that. You have a lot of work left to do. If anything, you're here to help everybody else. To not, let me just put it this way. There's still work for you to do. There are so many people out there that you can help by sharing your experiences, your feelings, talking. Make your own podcast if you need to. Get it out. Hell, we can even be sister stations together if you want to, and you can be a dude. I don't care. Or brother stations, or whatever. You can be. Let me clear my throat too. I mean, we'll go back and forth if you want to. If that's what it takes to keep you from going that way, because you can't survive. You can survive. I'm living proof of that. I'm definitely living proof of that. And that is one of the reasons why I made this podcast. Because even if I can help save one person, if even just myself, then it's worth it. But I don't plan I'm not going that way. I'm not going that way. Not on purpose. So, feel free to join me. We can, I don't know. We can, oh, you know what would be fun? Getting people together and playing like, oh, what is that game show? Uh, 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 um, Family Feud. Oh, that'd be so fun. I got Family Feud cards that I bought from a store. That would be so fun to get some people together and play a game of Family Feud. They don't need to be like blood family, they can be like people that are more your family than your relatives are. I have a few. I have a lot. I mean, I have a few of those. But that would be fun. So even something like that. That's something you can do the holiday, right? Play Family Feud. Hell, family's fighting already. Might as well make fun of it, or not fun of it. Like make I don't know. Don't make fun. Don't make fun. But have fun. That's what I mean. Have fun. I don't know. My mind will catch up with me eventually, and then I'll know what I mean. I'll be able to hopefully say it. this is my this is my head, people. This is my head, and you know what? I'm pretty damn proud of my head. So, on that note, I am going to close out from here. And once again, I do thank everybody that has taken the time out to share their time with me, because that is one part of your life you will never be able to get back, and that is your time. And that is very precious and priceless. And I thank you for sharing it with me. And I hope everybody has a safe and blessed holiday Christmas. If I do not do another podcast, please feel free to check out my other podcast. I think actually this might be my 20th podcast, if I'm not mistaken. So go me. Um, and I'm planning to hopefully maybe do some video streaming thing here soon. I know I've talked about it in a couple of my podcasts. I've got a couple of ideas that I just need to just I guess bite the bullet and do, because sometimes it's a matter of insecurities and self-esteem and um, being afraid of what you don't know. And honestly, I don't really know a lot about technology anymore, but I'm trying to learn and teach myself. So, hopefully, and if anybody's got any ideas or knows how to do anything and want to share it with me, I am all ears. Feel free to shoot me a message or whatever. So, anyway, I will let you go now, and I just want to say thank you. I am very blessed. I just want to say thank you. I'm very blessed um, to have you a part of my life, even if I don't know who you are. So, anyway, this is Dee, and you have been listening to my podcast. Let me clear my throat. Have a safe and blessed evening. Good night.